I'll tell you, Damian Woody has become
Big fan.
a big fan and honestly like a voice of reason on Drake Maye.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, is there a Patriots bias there? I doubt it with Damian Woody. I
don't think so.
I feel like he hasn't been like a super pro Pats guy. Played for the Jets on the other
Although
side.
he did play with Vrabel, so I wonder if he likes Vrabel.
Good point.
Maybe.
So I maybe he's being genuine. He just watches with his eyes and he says Drake Maye's been unbelievable, which the statistics back up. And apparently Cam Newton needs to watch a little closer. Maybe there is a Patriots bias with
to
Vrabel.
be the man, you got to beat the man twice.
2 times. The famous saying as it goes. Not 1 time.
That's what they told Rocky Balboa. Hold on, you got to beat him again.
Yeah. Well.
Could beat him again.
Yeah. Well, gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think the Drake Maye discussion as it relates to the MVP is interesting last night after Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes had a very interesting night. If you watched early, and it sounds like you were, Keith,
I did. I watched more of it early than late.
2 picks early.
Yeah.
One went right off Kelsey's hands. The other was a bad throw and a good play by Lattimore on the sidelines. He does finish with 3 touchdowns. The Chiefs win again. They did wake up today in playoff position. They're 5-3. They're the 7th seed in the AFC.
Yeah, they're the scariest team to face.
I mean,
without question.
I would ask you that, but I know we agree on
Yes.
that. Like the Chiefs are the scariest team in the AFC for the Pats.
Not even close.
Scarier than the Colts, scarier than Denver. Even if the Ravens reemerge and the Ravens play on Thursday night against the Dolphins, they could very easily be 3-4 by Friday.
Nobody.
The Ravens are another scary team, but it is the Chiefs.
Nobody. We know the Buffalo Bills don't want to face them, right? I mean, maybe the Broncos would be like, hey, division rival, we'll take our chances maybe if the game's at home. But no, I mean, the combination of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and even Travis Kelce, I keep waiting for him to be washed. And you mentioned the drop there, but overall, he had another good game.
He was good last night. He tied Priest Holmes for Chiefs career touchdowns, I think.
Crazy. Priest Holmes burned hot.
Priest Holmes was
did
there.
it in like 2 years.
Yeah, I was going to say Priest Holmes was barely even there compared
but he had
to
like
Kelce.
50 touchdowns a year. The guy was insane.
Yeah, he was nice.
But yeah, no, the Chiefs are the team to beat, and that's why you were like, hey, if everybody can keep winning, keep them out of the playoffs. But obviously that wasn't going to happen.
Okay, so updated MVP odds today. Mahomes plus 115. I think he went up, he at least went up slightly from last week. He was plus 125 last week. I don't know where he started the day yesterday after the games on Sunday. He's at plus 115. Allen's plus 350. Drake Maye is at plus 500.
Ooh, and that 2 weeks ago, it was like plus 1,100.
Yep.
So that thing is on the move.
And I think as of last week, it was 700 or 800, depending on where he shopped. So already he's gone up another couple hundred with another good defense on tap this weekend in the Falcons, though you wouldn't know it by the way they played Miami this weekend. And then a huge game, really, when you're talking about Drake Maye and who have they beaten and who is he doing it against and is he the MVP and what's the competition level. That Bucs game in 2 weeks at Tampa.
Yeah.
With the Bucs coming off a bye, and they're banged up, but that's coming off a bye. They should be well rested and waiting for the Pats. That'll be a big game for this discussion about Drake Maye. Who do you think's most responsible for the Drake Maye breakout in year 2?
Drake Maye.
Okay,
I mean, if I can go that way.
After Maye,
him,
Vrabel or McDaniels?
I think Vrabel. I mean, McDaniels. So I'm not going down the shine route. I would give.
I mean, it sounds it.
I'm not going down that route. I would give McDaniels. I do give McDaniels credit, but I do think there's something about Vrabel and just being like a real head coach, overseeing the entire operation, making him, more professional. Maybe is not the right phrase, but when he first took over and he was talking about the things that he was looking to instill in the team and even in the quarterback, it's not the exact play call. Like I give McDaniels credit for a lot of the play call stuff, but just sort of like knowing the situations, I give Vrabel a lot of credit for that. I mean, Mike Vrabel got Ryan Tannehill to look the best he's ever looked, and you could be like, well, there's the offensive coordinator. Sure, give Arthur Smith credit for that too, but he had a bunch of different coordinators in Tennessee and found ways to win with subpar quarterbacks. Now you have a good quarterback. At least we both think we have a good quarterback. So I give Vrabel a lot of credit. I don't want to be like, again, I'm not saying McDaniels deserves none of it. He does. He's done a great job as well. But I think having, like, if it was Mayo and McDaniels, let's say they just hired McDaniels and Mayo is still the head coach, I can't imagine Drake Maye looks as good as he does right now.
Well, Ken popped in and asked an interesting question yesterday. He goes, what do you think their record would be with Mayo?
I think it would be 4-4, maybe.
I would agree with that. Now, if you really went through and looked at all the games, maybe I'd feel. But like, generically, they're probably a couple of games worse.
That's an odd question
at best. So I think that speaks to why it's Vrabel, and I honestly think I'm pretty consistent in this. There's the exception of the rule. Ben Johnson is a coordinator we singled out quite a bit. That also was like trick play after trick play, plays you had never seen before in your life.
Yeah.
So I do think Ben Johnson, who's been okay in his first year with the Bears, they're 4-3. I think they're in a playoff spot. I'd have to double check.
Yeah, good question.
But, he's done a good job, but he hasn't looked, quite like I expected him to look in Chicago.
They are the first team out.
Okay, so sorry. So they're the 8th seed. They're knocking on the door of a playoff spot. And in fairness, a year ago, the Bears were 4-2 and fell off a cliff.
They did.
So
schedule got them.
Outside of a just outlandish scheme and trick plays up the wazoo like we saw with Ben Johnson, I don't really single out a lot of coordinators. I tend to think it has to do with the quarterback specifically, and head coaches, I'll credit some. Others I do feel like are more of a product of their coach. I would order them the same way as you. Credit for the Drake Maye breakout. Maye definitely deserves the most credit. And then I'd go Vrabel, followed by McDaniels.
And then maybe Diggs, honestly. And I know Diggs isn't like letting the world on fire, but I think he changed the whole wide receiver room.
That's a good one. I mean, that's one I wasn't even thinking of considering, but that's a good one. He deserves credit.
I put him up there. Like, he's on pace for a 1,000-yard season. He had 2 monster games, including the one game that everybody kind of points to is like, all right, Drake Maye out-dueled Josh Allen in a game head-to-head. And a big reason was Steph Diggs had his best game of the season. And I also wonder, even the trickle-down effect, like, I don't know if Kayshon Boutte is as good, or even Pop Douglas. I know he had that one blunder, but overall he's had some good plays. I wonder if those guys are as good if Steph Diggs isn't here. So all those guys are on the list. But that's what we said. Last year, your head coach, your offensive coordinator, and your best receiver were subpar, if not horrible. This year, you improved all 3 of those things. And tossing the O-line. The O-line's also better. Like, everything around Drake Maye is better, but what is the most encouraging thing is it really does feel like Drake Maye's making those guys better. Right? Like, Kayshon Boutte is better because of Drake Maye, not the other way around.
Yeah, he's leveled up because
of him.
Because of his elite quarterback.
Yeah. So I think the next step might be for Drake Maye would be, not to take as many sacks as he does. Like that kind of thing. And then make the offensive line look even a little bit better.
Benjamin Solak had good numbers on this today. Over at ESPN, very analytical. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but you can go seek it out. He made the argument for why Drake Maye is the MVP. The gripe in his story was that too many of the sacks are on Maye. He's like, the offensive line has been porous, like more porous than you might think for all the Will Campbell people out there.
All right.
But too many of the sacks are on Maye, where he is holding the football for too long. We got a call on that yesterday. I wasn't sure if I agreed with it, but the numbers would back that up. So credit to that caller yesterday. By the way, just closing the loop on Diggs. He is 14th in the NFL. He's played one more game than some teams. Some players have had their byes. Some players like Puka Nacua have had injuries on top of that. So he has the benefit of 8 full games. 14th in the league in receptions, 42, and he's 20th in the league in yards. That's 470, and that's all players. So like Kelsey and Tyler Warren are both ahead of him as tight ends in terms of yardage. So he's been a top 20 receiver pretty much any way you slice it.
Yeah,
he's on the list too.
Pretty good.
617-779-7937. You can jump in here on Jones and Keefe. A reminder, Football Talk on WEEI is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local game live every Sunday, all season long. Just visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. When we come back, Patriots expected to add at the trade deadline.
Nice.
According to Adam Schefter.